first began oil painting when I was 17. I remember getting all the materials, all the supplies. If it was like an arm and a leg, it felt very, even getting into like the toxicity of, you know, the paints and everything. I'm like, oh, this is some like grown up stuff. And I felt like, I'm low key, like I'm in conversation with like Leonardo da Vinci and like Michelangelo and stuff. Like this is like, I'm, you know, rolling with the big, you know, the big, by virtue of like engaging with this medium. Before then I'd been working with like color pencils, you know, was color pencils and like Prismacolor markers. I showed one of my teachers and he was like, oh man, this looks great. Yeah, this is, man, I can see the fuzz on this peach here. Wow, what does it mean? And I'm like, is it not enough that it looks cool? That became something I really kind of delved into between 2018 and 2021. If you can make anything, what do you make? Here I've learned people are not making art for their own health. Usually like they're making it for a deeper reason. Whenever one is making art, I believe that art is inherently about their life. You know, it comes from them after all, right? It can't, even if you resist trying to make art that is in some way, shape, or form about you, it's about you. You made it. And when you do that intentionally, I think you learn more about the artist, learns more about who they are. And like the crowd can probably help them along, you know, with that too. Started these works in Brooklyn over this past summer during a residency with the International Studio and Curatorial Program, ISCP, Determinant, that on which all else depends. I've been kind of thinking about the sense of touch and how it is really kind of elemental or elementary to understanding of like the world around us and how we come to have a sense of who we are. Touch was one of the most under-recognized kind of senses, and I find that interesting. If it is the most like under-recognized sense, I think this is something about how we relate to one another in the presence of self-awareness. This work was inspired by a passage from the Bible, actually. This passage in the book of Matthew, wherein a lawyer approaches Christ and asks him, like, hey, like you know so much, like what's the greatest of the 10 commandments? Christ goes, okay, forget all that. I give you 2 new commandments. Love God with everything you have, and like unto it, love thy neighbor as thyself. And he said, on these 2 commandments hang all the law and the prophets. I get this question all the time about the work is, what's the deal with the shapes of the canvases? I had seen artwork on unconventionally shaped canvases, those that weren't rectangles or some form of a rectangle square. It wasn't until I seen Titus Kafar's work at the Giants exhibition that I thought like, oh wow, like he's doing figurative work on this almost like pyramid shaped, you know, canvas. Hans Holbein, the younger, made this, I think it's an English statesman, and at the bottom of that painting there is this anamorphic skull. Using that technique or trying to be in conversation with Hans Holbein and his use of the anamorphic skull when I'm stretching these black and white figures and the hands in some of these as well. The black and white figures in Determinant, the image that painted is a cutout of a 16th century Polish painter, Franciszek Sobipan, who was one of many neoclassical Renaissance painters in Europe who painted or depicted the parable of the Good Samaritan. If you define a thing by what it is, you limit what it can be, and it becomes a destination. When you define a thing by what it isn't, what it can be is limitless, and that's a journey, and you can keep going on a journey. It's indefinite. So what's next? I mean, I'm on the journey. Yeah.